I am Heraclitos. If you're curious about how to live wisely, this video is for you. But first, like this video and subscribe to the channel. I opened my eyes in a world where the salty scent of the sea met the coolness of the morning. On the stony streets of Ephesus, they say it's 535 BCE, as if I could be frozen in time. I am Heraclitus, son of Bloson, heir to a noble family. But this inheritance is neither gold nor crown, only a burden, a chain of questioning. My father was one of the aristocrats of Ephesus, a man of power whose voice carried weight in the shadow of temples. But I grew not in his shadow, but in the light of the fire within me. Who am I? Where did I come from? This city, this family, this body, all flow like a river, don't they? I think I stand still, yet I'm changing every moment. My childhood passed in the shadow of Ephesus's temples. The temple of Artemis touched my soul with the chill of its stones. My mother, too, was a part of this city. A quiet but wise woman, she never told me fairy tales. Instead, she asked me to listen to the waves, to hear the whispers of the wind. Listen, Heraclitus, she said. The universe speaks, but only those who listen can hear it. Perhaps I first sensed the logos in her whispers, though I didn't yet know what it was. To know, is it a curse or a blessing? I can't stop asking. My family belonged to Ephesus's upper class. My father had influence in political affairs, power over the temples. He would say, "Son, this city is your inheritance." But what was inheritance? Stones, gold, or the empty looks in people's eyes? Ephesus took pride in its wealth. Merchant ships docked at the harbor. Markets overflowed with life. Yet I was alone in the crowd. While others sold goods, I tried to sell questions from within me. No one bought them. Why are they so blind? Why do they see only what is seen? My father's power, his riches, they did not bind me. On the contrary, I wanted to be free from that burden. I swore to break the chains of nobility, because true nobility lies in the freedom of the soul, doesn't it? In my youth, I wandered the streets of Ephesus, watching temple priests pray, merchants haggle, slaves remain silent. In each, I sought something, a meaning, a truth. But all I found was chaos and contradiction. People lived by believing in their own lies. Be strong, Heraclitus, my father said, but is strength in a man's arms or in his thoughts? His world was not mine. My family wanted me to be a leader, perhaps a priest or a governor, but I wanted neither throne nor temple. I was chasing fire. Fire, the divine force that devours and transforms all. That is my true kin, isn't it? No teacher or sage raised me. The streets of Ephesus, the waves of the sea, the howling of the wind, these were my teachers. I read Homer's verses, but didn't believe in his tales of heroism. I listened to Hesiod's gods, but their stories felt too small for me. So what was I? A rebel? A madman? Or just a traveler seeking truth? My family was disturbed by my questions. Why won't you be quiet, Heraclitus? They'd ask. But isn't silence a kind of death? To speak, to think, to question. These are the dances of a man with fire. I was born in the stones of Ephesus, kneaded with the salt of the sea, in the shadow of a family, but my soul is free from shadows. Who am I? I ask the night. The stars stay silent. The waves reply. Heraclitus, says a whisper. You are fire. You are change. My father's eyes held thrones. Gold, power, glory. A hollow wound. My mother's silence. A riddle. Truth hidden in the depths of the sea. They called me noble, offered chains. But I broke those chains. I burned not for temples, but for the fire of my own soul. Ephesus sleeps, people blind, markets scream, hearts deaf, Logos whispers, none hear. But I did. I awoke. The river flows. I flow with it. I'm never the same. Each moment, new again. Who am I? A question, a flame. My family was a tree's branches, roots deep, but limbs broken. They gave me a burden, not a legacy. I laid that burden into the fire. The temple of Artemis offers shadows, but I do not dwell in shadows. I was born chasing the light, born in the song of change. As a child, I walked the streets. Cold stone touched my soul. The wind whispered, "Listen," it said. I listened and found myself, not my father's crown, nor my mother's word. What made me who I am was the questioning within. All things flow, all things change, and I am the fire within that flow. My family did not understand me. My father said, "You are the future of Ephesus." But I saw the future not in stones, but in thought. Their world is fixed. Mine is a river, constantly changing, ever reborn. My nobility lies not in a title, but in the courage to seek truth. I was born in Ephesus, but this city is not my home. My home is the voice of Logos, the dance of fire, the endless flow of the cosmos. In my childhood, playing in the shadow of temples, I was never like the other children. While they played with stones, I sought the meaning beyond them. Why are we here? I would ask. My mother would smile. You'll learn with time, she'd say. But time didn't teach. It only brought more questions. My family tried to shape me, but I didn't fit into their mold. Their world was too small for my soul. People ask, who were your teachers? But I never followed a single mentor. I never sat at the feet of a sage, nor was I chained to a school. My teachers were the waves of the sea, the whispers of the wind, the shadows of the olive trees. But if you must name a person, then perhaps the verses of Homer, the tales of Hesiod, the numbers of Pythagoras. They crossed my path. But were they truly my teachers, or merely mirrors reflecting my own mind? I ask you, is a true teacher the one who binds you, or the one who sets you free? As a child, wandering through the markets of Ephesus, through the courtyards of temples, I never sat in a classroom like the other children. My father would say, "My son, learn, become wise." But his wisdom was carved in stone, rules etched into walls. I sought not those rules, but the flow of the universe. I read Homer's epics, the Iliad and Odyssey, heroes, gods, victories. People are in awe of his lines, but I found something lacking. Homer praised courage and glory, but isn't the truth beyond such glory? His verses were like a mirror showing me what people worship. But I wasn't looking for something to worship. I was seeking something to understand. Was Homer a teacher? No, he was a question mark. Why do people so easily fall for illusions? Then I encountered the works of Hesiod. His theogony tells the birth of the gods. But weren't these gods merely inventions of the human mind? His order tried to explain the chaos of the cosmos. But isn't it chaos that gives birth to order? Hesiod's words were like a riddle, not meant to be solved, but questioned. His gods didn't align with my logos. Still, his lines nudged my thoughts. Why is everything explained through stories? I asked. Do stories veil the truth or reveal it? Hesiod didn't teach me, but he multiplied my questions. Maybe that's what a teacher should do. Not teach, but provoke. I heard of Pythagoras and his world that danced with numbers. Far from Ephesus, on Samos, he believed numbers held the secrets of the universe. Numbers, order, harmony. It sounds pleasant, doesn't it? But I saw a flaw in his order. The universe doesn't live in the rigidity of numbers, but in the abrahamic flow of fire. Pythagoras' numbers were like a cage, and I always ran from cages. His ideas fascinated my mind for a moment. But then I asked, why must everything be forced into a pattern? Can numbers speak the truth, or only cast its shadows? Was Pythagoras a teacher? No, he was a guide, but the path he pointed to wasn't mine. In Ephesus, the priests of the temples also tried to be teachers. Through prayers and rituals, they claimed I'd find the truth. But I saw a fire not in the stones of the temple of Artemis, but within myself. The priests would say, worship the gods, find peace. But peace lies not in worship, but in questioning. Their prayers were chains. I broke those chains. A true teacher sets one free, doesn't he? But the priests tried to bind me to the stones. Their words were only echoes. I sought the silence beyond the echo. I taught myself on the streets of Ephesus, by the sea, beneath the shadows of olive trees. I read books, but my true teacher was my own mind. Logos whispered within me, a flow, a rhythm, a truth. Homer, Hesiod, Pythagoras, they were steps, but the staircase was within. Why do people need someone else's words so desperately? I wondered. Isn't truth not out there, but inside? My teachers were not people, but the universe itself. The waves, the wind, the fire, they taught me logos. Still, I ask, is learning an end or an endless journey? Homer's verses, an echo, heroes dance, but truth lies elsewhere. Glory, fame, a play of shadows. I seek the breath of fire. Hesiod's gods, like fairy tales. Chaos and order, a puzzling tale. But I shattered those stories and listened to the voice of Logos. Pythagoras enchants with numbers, but the cosmos escapes his cage. Numbers fall silent. Fire speaks. Change weaves through my soul. Priests whisper, the stones are cold. Prayers are chains. My soul feels choked. My teachers were waves, wind, night. Logos whispers, I am its word. I taught myself, because anything else would be a chain. Wandering through the streets of Ephesus, by the sea, in the shadows of the temples, I asked a question With every step, Homer showed me the dreams of mankind, but I searched for what lies beyond dreams. Hesiod told tales of gods, but I sensed the law of the cosmos instead. Pythagoras built a world of numbers, but I saw that world dancing with chaos. The priests tried to teach me worship, but I chose to question. My teachers weren't human. They were the universe itself. The waves taught me change. The wind whispered freedom. The fire revealed truth. People follow a teacher, but I carved my own path. Logos became a spark within me. Every question fed the flame. Homer, Hesiod, Pythagoras. They were mirrors, but truth, I found it within. I spent my early years not in the noise of Ephesus, but in the silence of my own mind. People believe knowledge must be given by a teacher, but I saw that it lives within us. My teachers weren't sages, priests, or poets. My teachers were the flow of the cosmos, the dance of fire, the voice of logos. And still I ask, is learning an end, or an infinite beginning? In my youth, while people chased after gold and glory, I sought something else, truth. What is truth? A fixed stone or a flowing river? That question became the fire in my mind. My philosophy was born from the ashes of that fire. The universe itself whispered to me. I heard the logos. I saw change, opposites, and fire. But are these foundations an end or the beginning of an endless journey? In Ephesus, as I wandered in the shadow of the Temple of Artemis, I watched how people viewed the world. Merchants shouted in the markets. Priests called to the gods with prayers. Children got lost in their games, but I was alone in that crowd. My eyes looked beyond the stones, toward the horizon of the sea. Why does everything change? I asked. The waves come and go. The wind blows and falls silent. Nothing is fixed. This thought sparked something in my mind. People dream of a stable world, but I saw that everything flows. You can't step into the same river twice, can you? Because the river changes, and so do you. That became the first stone of my philosophy. Panta rei, everything flows. But is change chaos or order? As I walked through the streets of Ephesus, I carried that question. People watch opposites with fear. Night and day, hot and cold, life and death. But I saw a dance between these opposites. They don't fight. They exist through each other. Without night, what meaning does day have? Without hunger, what value is fullness? That thought opened a door in my mind. The unity of opposites was the secret of the universe. Logos whispered that unity to me. What is Logos? A law, an order, a reason, but also the fire inside everything. People don't hear the Logos because their ears are used to the noise of the markets. But why did I hear it? Because I listened. Fire became the heart of my philosophy. In the markets of Ephesus, I watched the merchants melt metals with fire. Fire transforms everything, wood to ash, metal to gold. But fire doesn't only destroy, it creates. Isn't the universe itself a fire? Everything is born in its flame, and everything dies in it. People look at fire with fear, but I saw the Yuhi's truth in it. Fire is not fixed. It is change itself. That thought stormed through my mind. What is the foundation of the universe? I asked. Stone? Water? Air? No. Fire. Because fire unites everything, transforms everything. But why can't people see that? As I touched the cold stones of the temples in Ephesus, I thought about the limits of human knowledge. Priests believed they held the wisdom of the gods, but their prayers were only echoes. People think they know, but isn't knowledge just another illusion? Knowledge is not a fixed treasure. It flows like a river. Humans are trapped in the shadows of their own minds. I escaped those shadows. I sought the Logos, but Logos wasn't an end. It was a journey. Is knowledge a curse or a freedom? I couldn't stop asking. I read Homer's epics, but his heroes felt too small for me. I listened to Hesiod's gods, but their stories didn't explain the flow of the universe. Pythagoras' numbers offered a kind of order, but that order couldn't capture the dance of chaos. I carved my own path. My philosophy was born not from a teacher or a book. It was shaped by the waves of the sea, the whispers of the wind, the flames of fire. People search for truth outside, but I found it within. Logos, a spark in my mind. Change, a dance in my soul. Fire, a reality in my being. My questioning echoes in the stones of Ephesus. The waves whisper, full of fire. Everything flows like a river, and I am a drop in that current. Free, night and day, traces of a dance, opposites as one. The word of Logos. They clash, but never part. The heart of the universe begins with fire. Fire burns, devours all. Wood to ash, metal to gold. Change hides in its flame, and I hold that flame in my soul. Logos whispers, yet people are deaf. Markets scream, hearts grow heavy. But I heard it, the voice of the cosmos, my philosophy, a dancing syllable of fire. The foundations of my philosophy were shaped not in the crowds of Ephesus, but in the silence of my own mind. People want a fixed world, but I saw that everything flows. Change was the law of the universe. Logos was the voice of that law. The unity of opposites stormed through my mind. Day gives birth to night. Life gives rise to death. That dance was the rhythm of the cosmos. But why don't people hear it? Because their ears are used to their own lies. Fire became the center of my philosophy. In the markets of Ephesus, I watched blacksmiths shape metal with fire. Fire transforms everything, but it never changes. Isn't the universe like that fire? Everything is born in its flame. Everything vanishes in its flame. People look at fire with fear, but I saw truth in it. My philosophy pursued that truth. Change, opposites, fire. Logos is the law that unites these three. Knowledge is a treasure to most people, but to me, it's a riddle. People think they know, but knowledge flows like a river. In the shadows of the temples of Ephesus, I understood that truth. Priests believe they hold divine knowledge, but their prayers are only shadows. Truth lies beyond the shadows, in the light of Logos. My philosophy became the search for that light, and still I ask, is truth an end or an unending journey? My words flow like a river, short, sharp, full of riddles. Why do I write this way? Because truth cannot be buried. under long speeches. It sparks like a flame. People want clear words, but I force them to think. Is a riddle a chain or the key to freedom? My words are the shadow of the Logos. Those who hear awaken. The deaf remain asleep. In my youth, I read the epics of Homer, the tales of Hesiod. Their long stories enchanted the crowds, but I saw something missing. Truth was not in decorated words. It was hidden in a naked flame. In the temples of Ephesus, the priests' prayers were chains. I wanted to break those chains. My words had to be short, sharp, like an arrow, burning like fire. People asked, Heraclitus, why do you write in such darkness? Darkness? No, I offer light. But their eyes are lost in shadows. Why is truth so hard to find? I wove my words as aphorisms, because the universe itself is a riddle. You cannot step into the same river twice, I said. That's not a sentence. It's a door. Those who open it see the Logos. People want straight roads, but I offer winding paths. Every word holds a question. What is change? Why does opposition exist? Why is fire the essence of all? In the markets of Ephesus, as merchants shouted their prices, I understood the power of words. Long talk smothers the truth. Short speech stirs the fire. I am not a poet, not a sage. I am a lantern, and my light burns for the thinkers. My way of writing was meant to disturb their sleep. They dream of a fixed world. I showed them the flow. Everything flows, I said, but their ears were deaf. My words are riddles, because truth is a riddle. The Logos whispers in every line, but only the listeners hear. So why do I write this way? Because man cannot live without thought. My words are a mirror. Those who see themselves will find the truth. Poetic interlude. My words, a river, flowing in silence. Short, sharp, in riddled cadence. The Logos whispers. I am its pen. I write in fire. The soul's domain. My riddles unlock hidden doors. The thinkers pass. The sleepers ignore. They call it darkness. But I am the light. My words, the universe, burning bright. My mind burned to solve the riddles of the universe. I called my work On Nature, but it is not a book. It is a flame, a river, a whisper. Why did I write it? Because truth cannot remain silent. Logos longs to speak. But do people hear its voice? Or are they lost in sleep, with ears deaf to the sound? I ask you, are my words a light or merely a shadow? In the shade of Ephesus, beneath the olive trees, I carved my thoughts into stone. On Nature carries the law of the cosmos, the voice of the Logos. Everything flows, I said. Panta rei, the river is never the same. The man is never the same. Change is the heartbeat of the universe. People dream of a world that stands still, but I saw the flow. Waves rise and fall. Fire flares and fades. Is this motion chaos or a deeper order? Logos is the answer, the law within all things, the reason above all. But why can't people see it? My work is not like long epics. It is short, sharp, full of riddles, not just words, an invitation to think, to see, to understand. People want clarity. I wanted to wake them. Long speeches drown the truth. Short words fan the flame. On Nature is a mirror. Those who can see themselves within it will find the Logos. But why do so few dare to look? Fire became the soul of my work. Isn't the cosmos made of fire? All things are born in its blaze. All things change in its light. Wood becomes ash or becomes gold, but the fire remains. People fear the flame. I saw the truth in it. On nature whispers this: the universe is not a stone, but a living fire. So, why do people try to smother the flame? Why do they resist change? As I wrote, I walked to the temples of Ephesus. The stones of Artemis's temple were cold, but my words were warm. Priests worshipped gods. I worshipped the Logos. They sought truth in prayers. I found it in questions. On nature is not a temple, but a path. Those who walk it see the dance of change, but that path is thorny. People love easy roads. I chose the hard one. My writing is a riddle, because truth itself is a riddle. The fire of my work, poetic interlude. Fire burns. It devours all, wood to ash or to gold. My words, a riddle, a gate. Those who open it find the Logos fate. Ephesus sleeps. People are deaf, but my work calls out in flame. The thinking ones hear the voice of truth. On nature, the breath of my soul. My work was not written for the crowds of Ephesus, but for those who think. People asked, Heraclitus, why do you write in darkness? Darkness? No, I offer light, but their eyes are lost in shadow. On nature is not an ending, but a beginning. Every line is a question, every question a spark. Change, Logos, fire. These are the secrets of the cosmos. But is truth a treasure to be found, or a journey to be lived? By the shores of Ephesus, I listened to the rhythm of the waves. They were my inspiration. Logos speaks in every wave, in every flame, but only the listening hear it. On nature is not my voice, it is the voice of the universe. Yet people cannot hear, for their ears are tuned to lies. I wanted to break those lies. My work is a lantern. It shines for those who dare to think. But still I ask, is truth an end, or a flow that never stops? I did not hear the truth in the stone streets of the city, but in the silence of the mountains. People did not understand my words, my aphorisms, my riddles. They felt cold to them, but truth is not hidden in adorned words. It lies within the naked flame. I said, everything flows, and now I too have become a part of that flow. I chose solitude. I left behind deaf ears, empty eyes, cold temples. No servant, no friend, only loneliness, my most loyal companion. The days passed slowly in the mountains. The rising sun cleansed my thoughts. The stars at night stood watch over my words. I sat by the fire, watching it dance, watching it fade. In that flame lived the law of the cosmos: birth, change, extinction. But the body cannot defy time. One morning, I felt a burn, a crack in my skin. At first, I ignored it. Pain, I thought, is part of change. But soon, the pain grew louder. The sun, once my muse, now burned like judgment. I did not return to the city. No doctors, no priests. I asked nature, as I always had, to show me the truth. I dug a pit, filled it with dung. Heat, they said, could purify, and so I entered it, naked, vulnerable, burning, hoping. But the fire did not heal. My breath grew heavy. My body failed. But still, I thought, always. I thought, everything flows. I had said, now I flowed too. Not toward death, but toward transformation. I lay beneath the stars, each one, a thought, each thought, a door, and I was ready to walk through. Some will call it tragic. Let them. I did not seek crowds. I sought the silence of stars. I am no victim. I am a soul, burning in the fire of Logos. My death is not an end. It is a flow, a return to fire. My work remains on nature. In it, sparks. And one day, someone will find the spark. They will light the fire again. And I will live again. Because I am no longer the man bathing in the river. I am the river itself.